Welcome, friends of the Greasy Shop Rag. Today we're going to take a look at a Husqvarna 450 chainsaw. Customer complaint is that the starter rope is hanging out. And you can see here that it is hanging out, so we've confirmed the complaint. Let's take the starter off and see what's going on under here. 4 screws, 4mm size bit. And it's just kind of hanging there. Let's loosen up that center bolt. Bang, it winds back up. Well, why do you suppose that is? Well, we'll get to that in a minute. So, I always look saws over when they get to my bench. You know, they're going to bring them to me. It's my opportunity to give them a once over. I want to look in the cylinder and make sure that it's clean and shiny. Because what happens is, if I just fix this starter and this thing's got a scored cylinder and a week later the saw seizes up, it's going to be my fault. They're going to come back and say, I just had this saw in here a week ago. And then a lot of times when you go look at the records, that week ago was 6 months ago, but that's a whole nother story.
That automatic start there?
I'm just checking for spark, and I don't have the recoil on there, so if I go like this.
So now could you start that with that?
Probably not, because I'd be backing the nut off.
Oh, is it reverse?
Yeah.
Right.
No, I'm going this way, though. I mean, the motor will probably run either direction. I don't know if how the coil would like it, but yeah. I mean, I used to have a 2-stroke dirt bike, and I remember one time I was going up a hill, and I snubbed it out and rolled backwards, and it restarted in reverse. So then I spent the rest of the day trying to drive the bike in reverse. Well, once it's running in reverse, you let out the clutch, it's going backwards.
The motor's spinning backwards.
Yeah.
And you tried running the rest of the day going backwards?
Yeah.
How'd that work?
Started up pretty bad. I had to drive up the hill and re-snub it out and restart it quite a few times, but because I'd wipe out and the motor would die or something. It's all good. You know, I didn't have a direction in life then, and the circus was still an option, so.
You said it, not me.
Yep, the circus was still an option back then. And now I'm living the glorious, glamorous, high-profile, well-paid, and respected job of chainsaw mechanic. So it looks like we had a clean cylinder and good spark. Let's take a look at the starter. Isn't that what we're here for? We'll take the center screw right out and let's pull this apart. Now this particular starter has this easy start assist spring in it, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what Husky's name is for it. But there's the rewind spring for the rope, and then there is a cushioning spring that kind of absorbs the shock when you pull on the rope. So we release the spring tension, and now we're taking the nose off of here. Just pop that off of there. And what you're going to find underneath here is that this spring occasionally rides up on the pulley that the rope is on, and then the drive pulley on top. And you can tell if that's happened or not by looking at the holes that the spring ends of the spring sit in, and seeing if they're all scratched up around the diameter of that hole. So really, this is our problem right here, is dirt. There's enough dirt and debris, and it was really a gritty, sandy kind of dirt, that it's just binding. between the plastic pulley and that plastic spring holder, it should slide on there. Now, if I were to grease that up, then it would probably attract dirt. We don't want that. I am going to put some grease on the center stud. And, you know, this might not be a great idea either. That could attract some dirt, although I don't find the dirt to really accumulate on that center post. So now that we've set the pulley back in, notice that this spring is not symmetrical. On one side there's kind of a bend in it, and the other side, the outer circumference is the same diameter all the way around. So the side with the bend in it goes down. And then we just put the cap back on the top. You want to inspect that cap, make sure that it hasn't spun on that spring. So we'll crank this nut back down. Then we're going to tension the rewind spring. There's a groove in the pulley. We can just drop that string into the groove, wind it up. Here I wind it 4 or 5 times. And that just happens to feel like the right amount of tension. Now we're going to pull the rope all the way out and make sure that we're not binding that spring when when the rope is fully extended. There needs to be some play left where that pulley can turn further once you have the rope all the way out. So get this starter screwed back down into place. And then we're going to give this thing a try and see if it works. So that's all I got for you on the Husqvarna 450 chainsaw starter repair. Thanks for watching. Later.